Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Reset Podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Yo. This is part of my 29 Days of Magic series where I interview a Black woman a day for 29 straight days for Black History Month. And today I am so excited to have Angelique Miles, who's an amazing creator, and so much more, on the show today. She has an incredible story, and I can't wait for you all to hear. Hey, Angelique, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, just chatting with amazing Black women every day, all day, through the month of February. Good stuff.
That sounds like fun.
I know, right? So first question is always really interesting and what the responses are going to be, and I can't imagine yours would be any different. So, Angelique, what was your first job?
My first job?
Whichever you want. Whichever you like.
Okay. Well, my first job was at a department store called Alexander's in
I
New York
remember
City. Remember
Alexander's.
Alexander's? I
Oh,
worked
wait,
in the
where?
in Valley Stream.
Oh, yes, I know. I remember there. I was little, but I remember going there.
Yes, that was my first job, and I worked in the quote unquote fine jewelry department. Where
Quote
like
unquote is accurate.
Seiko watches were probably the most expensive thing. So that was my absolutely first job. I worked there part time while I was in high school, and it was great to have my own money. And my parents picked me up from work every day because I didn't get off work till 10 o'clock. You know how
Well,
department
that's a
stores
slight
were.
issue, but neither here nor there.
Yeah,
It's like,
so that was
I
my
mean, that,
first job.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. I remember Alexander because I grew up on Long Island. There was the one there, and there was one. I think there was one at Roosevelt Field too.
Probably.
Yeah. But like that was the store. I feel like all my like brothers, just older friends, like went there in high school. So it definitely was a Long Island thing.
Yes, it was definitely Alexander's was the place. Then A&S.
And yes. Oh wow. Taking me back now. I remember I used to get the teddy bears. My mom would get me the teddy bears from A&S.
Oh
Um,
yeah, it was a lot of
the
memories of Abraham and Trust. That one, the one in Hempstead.
Yeah, wait, where
Um,
you sound like you grew up on Long Island.
I grew up in a part of Queens that's so close to Long Island that we did everything on Long Island. I grew up in Laurelton, Queens,
Oh, okay,
which
so you
is
were like,
by the
yeah,
border.
you were right at the border. Yeah, I grew up
Yeah.
in Baldwin and the Hempstead.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so Roosevelt Field, Green
Mhm.
Acres, the whole nine. And I had lots of family who lived in Jamaica, Queens. So I was
Yes.
always over there. Tiny world as always.
Exactly.
Okay, so we go from working in the quote unquote fine jewelry department till now. What's that career journey been like?
Well, I went to an all-girl Catholic high school, and then I went to Hampton University, where I studied finance, business administration finance. And I thought I was going to be a mutual fund salesperson or a stockbroker. So when I got out of school, I worked at Schiss and Lehman Hutton, which no longer exists, but I worked on the 102nd floor of the World Trade Center, which is really interesting. Now
Wow.
that it no longer exists. Yeah, I remember you used to have to take like two or three elevators to get up to the 102nd floor. But I realized very early that it was not what I wanted to do. I was like, this cannot be my life. Coming all the way down to Wall Street from Queens every day. First of all, the commute was like an hour and a half.
No fun.
Yeah, and I didn't love what I was doing. So a commute that long is worth it if you love what you're doing, but I really didn't like my job at all. So instead of looking for another job until I got, until I basically quit. I'm like, you know what? There's no, I'm not, I live at home. I don't pay rent. I'm not, really beholden to this place. Let me temp until I find what I want to do. And just so happens that my temp agency, because remember, those are the days where you could just walk into a temp agency and show them how fast you could type and they would send you out to jobs.
Oh
And
wow.
they sent me to Capitol Records and our department.
What?
And that's how I got into the music industry.
Wow.
And see, I always tell that story because it's like, had I never quit, I would have never found out what I wanted to do. So sometimes, you just have to let go of what you don't want to get what you do want. So I was so glad that I quit, so glad that I started temping. And yeah, I got to Capitol Records and started working at EMI Records. I never left, that was my job. My music, I was in the music industry for many years after that, from being an A&R assistant to being a music publishing executive, where I had my most success, where I signed people like Timbaland and Missy Elliott and Busta Rhymes, Old Dirty Bastard, a lot of people on my roster at Warner Chapel. So yeah, I was in the business for a while. I married a man in the business. Met lots of cool people, did lots of cool things. And then one day it just all came to an end. I guess it happens slowly, like, you do something for a while and maybe you lose your passion for it. I probably did. But the business was changing, was being disrupted by the BlackBerry and Apple. The iPhone wasn't out yet, but it was the iPod. A lot of jobs were lost during that time. And the music business is always a game of musical chairs, but there's always enough chairs for most people. Now there were like two chairs and not enough chairs for people. So I didn't work for a long time, and it was very difficult for me because I tried to figure out, well, I'm so good at what I do. How can I not do it? But the business I was in no longer existed for me to work in it,
Right.
and wasn't easily transferable, I guess is a word, to another job, because most people don't know what A&R is. Most people don't know what music publishing is or what talent acquisition is. Most people don't know that. So I tried real estate, I tried insurance, I tried all kinds of things, and I was like, this cannot be my life. Like, I'm always one of those people who believes that if you love what you do, God will bless it. It's important to love what you do, or at least like it. For me, anyway. I only excel in things that I like. Around this time, my body started changing because I was getting older, going through menopause and things like that, or perimenopause, really. But anyway, I was gaining weight. I said, well, I have to do something more aggressive as far as workouts concerned, because even though I'm down and out, I'm not going to look down and out.
Damn right.
so,
Like,
that would just take me over the edge. So I started doing CrossFit, and CrossFit had me doing so many crazy workouts, like run 2 miles and then do 50 kettlebell swings. I was like, someone has to know that I'm doing this. So I recorded, not I didn't always, maybe I just told people what I did. I didn't always record it. Maybe I took a few pictures, but this is like the dawn of Instagram. Um, and it just resonated with people. I would be in the most odd places, like the Long Island Railroad, and people would be like, I follow you. Like, I'm in my 40s also, and I need to get back in the gym. It just, what I was doing really resonated with people. And that's how I began my journey as a creator.
that's incredible. And so basically it was you just wanted to be like, I need to be healthy. I'm not gonna look busted. Stuff might be challenging, but like I'm not gonna let this kill me. And then lo and behold, you became this creator. Now, you didn't just become a creator, you've become quite the well-known one. What's that been like? I love how you was like sliding, you're missing the point about how fabulous you are on the internet. So,
Well, thank you.
how did the persona that you have online, fully being you, come together?
Well, like I said, just I think health and wellness really resonates with people, not just my age, but looking and feeling good, and not in letting your age define you. I've had younger women who follow. Most of my followers are younger, actually, and they're mostly young women who just say, "Because of you, I know I'm going to be fine at 50." And
Yeah,
that's the biggest
me
compliment.
included. Me included.
That's the biggest compliment anyone could ever give me. Like, don't be afraid of 50. 60's coming up for me very soon. And I hope that people will be saying the same thing about me, about turning 60. Like, I'm not afraid of turning 60 because you make it look so good. Um, you know, that's the biggest compliment, the biggest achievement for me. But I like to show that you can live a healthy social life, travel, do all the things you want to do and still be healthy and fit and still have a dating life, still spend time with your family. not to say I do all things perfectly because I'm far from perfect, but 50, nothing stops it just because you turn 50. And that's what I hope I show on my page.
I think that's the most important thing about, and why like I follow you as well, is that it's not this unrealistic shape. I think there's so much out there in the online fitness community where it's like you have to look like a Kardashian. It's like,
Hmm.
that is
Right.
not what this is about. It's much more about being healthy and taking care of yourself.
That too, but I will admit that I get Botox, I get fillers and things like that. I don't The difference is I don't try to turn back the hand of time. I think
Right.
people make the mistake of getting things like that done to erase things. I don't try to erase anything. I just try to refresh or smooth things
Smooth
over. I
out.
think, yeah, smooth it out. I don't want to look 25. I just want to look the best 57 I can be. And it's a personal choice that everyone has to do it to look how, to be comfortable with the way they look. I just prefer to do it right now. Who knows if I'll continue to do it. But
Exactly.
yeah, it's a personal preference. But yeah, I like to look refreshed, not 20 years younger. And yes, I stay in shape, but not like I'm not skinny. Most of the time I'm trying to lose 10 pounds. Like I'm always, not most of the time, I'm always trying to lose 10 pounds. Always. I'm always
Right, right.
chasing those 10 pounds. Always. Um, but I eat pretty healthy 80% of the time. 20% of the time, I eat what I want. Except for during the holidays, it's probably the other way around.
As everyone should and could.
Life is meant to be, lived
Lived.
and enjoyed. Yeah. When I go on vacation, people are like, "Don't you exercise?" I don't exercise on vacation. Very
That seems
rarely.
so
Like,
antithetical, right? Because it's you're on vacation. Give me all the
yeah,
food and let
I
me
want to wake
sleep.
up and go to the pool or to the beach. I don't want to wake up and work out. But I guess it depends on the kind of vacation I'm on. But if I like during the holidays and stuff like that, I'm definitely not going to the gym during the holidays. And once in a blue moon, I'll do maybe one or two workouts, but generally not. So, but when I get back, it's game on again.
So for you, and giving some folks, with the rise of like the weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy, some folks feel like that's like a shortcut. What do you sort of recommend for folks to restart their health journey? Because I know I have restarted my health journey, like healthiness journey, maybe 100 times, and I'm restarting again and yet again because I'm like, I will start it out. But like, what's some good advice you'd like to give to some folks and things they can do?
I'm not against Ozempic and Wegovy, things like that. If you've tried everything, if you've actually done the work and nothing else works and nothing's working, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. There are some people who just can't lose weight and they work out, they eat right, and just it just isn't happening. I think things like that, as long as it's healthy for you, are just fine. But I think you should try the natural route first. That's just my opinion, but not everybody. Everybody should do whatever makes them happy. I'm not here to judge anyone on, how to do things or the way they want to do things. But if you want to try it the natural way, it's just cutting out sugar or cutting back on sugar. I've cut out alcohol for the most part. It wasn't difficult for me, but that may be difficult for some people. But I definitely stopped drinking. I stopped drinking because I gave it up for Lent and then I just never went back to it. But little things every day, that little bad habits that you've picked up over the years, those are the things to let go of first, because usually you lose weight just doing something as simple as that. It's not drinking soda, not drinking juice, not eating a lot of meat, not eating fried foods, cookies and things like that. And not to say you shouldn't treat yourself sometimes, just don't eat the whole box, you know.
Okay, Angelique, if you insist.
But it's the little things that make the difference. With I think if you've tried all those things and it just still isn't working, do whatever makes you happy.
You have to.
You
Honestly, you
have
really
to.
do.
And I've seen some people I know have gone through so many things to lose weight. And I saw a friend of mine like last year, and she lost 40 pounds. I didn't even recognize her, but she looked amazing, and she was happy. And she'd been exercising and staying healthy. It wasn't like she was going back into her old habits. She was keeping it up.
And I think that's the key about it. It's like you've just got to find the balance between the two. But you find your way, and you take your time with it, because it also Rome was not built in a day, and you can't.
No, it's not. You have to do what's right for you. Like it's like workouts. I lift weights. Well, as you get older, you have to lift weights. There's no getting way, getting around it. We lose like 3% muscle mass every few years or less as we get older, and it's really important to keep that up. So even if you do other things like Pilates or you run or you do Zumba or whatever the the current popular classes right now, you have to lift weights and lift heavy.
So you got to lift heavy. So is there like a weight, like, number of pounds you should be lifting? So if you're over 30, over 40, like, try to make sure you do something that's more than 10 pounds if you can.
Yeah, well, heavy is, relative. Heavy for me might not be so heavy to someone else, or heavy to me might be ridiculously heavy for someone else. So you have to build up to that. You can't just start lifting heavy. Um, but you should be lifting as heavy as you can to put that muscle back.
And yeah, that's the thing that I have noticed that I have now started to do to lift weights. It's not fun, Angelique. I gotta tell you.
I mean, if it were easy, everyone would do it.
This is true. I know, but still, I thought I was good with, like, just doing like Pilates or riding a bike, and then I was like, nope, got to start lifting weights.
Gotta start lifting weights. Luckily I live across the street from a gym, so it's really convenient for me. And that's the other thing. I think whatever you do should be convenient. I used to drive like 20, 30 minutes to a gym, and I would be cursing the whole way. Like I had to wake up, I had to sit in traffic, go to this gym, but I found something very convenient for me. So, there are no excuses for me to walk across the street. Like
Well, when
that,
you put it in those terms, fine.
that would be ridiculous. But, I like to experiment, take classes here and there. It's not all I do. I like to do, a bunch of different things, but wait to the main thing.
Yeah, I've started doing like the Mayweather fitness classes that also include weight lifting, and that's actually been fun. And I'm like, all right, cool. This feels better than just like staring at the mirror and lifting weights. So
Yeah, classes are great. I mean, there's so many things out there available to people that I'm like, if this were the case 10, 20 years ago, I'd be in even better shape now.
oh
But
my God.
there's like a big, I travel to Houston a lot, and there's a big fitness community there. Atlanta has a great fitness community. All these major cities, and even smaller cities, have great fitness communities and great classes that I see people taking, and I think it's wonderful.
I think that's actually really true. I think some folks are like, well, how do I find this particular one? I'm like, there's 11,000 apps.
Hmm.
No matter where you are, I think that's the one thing that COVID taught us all. There's a million ways for you to work out
A
and find
million.
classes and find community. Like, you just have to fix your fingers to type, go to Google, and you can do it.
Yeah, if you really want it, you can find it
Like, this is not that complicated, y'all. Please.
at all.
Uh, so, without looking back on all the really awesome things you've been able to do, what do you think you tell 18-year-old Angelique?
Uh, don't take business administration. That was, um, what would I tell my 18-year-old self? To love myself no matter what choices I make, no matter what I go through, to always just love myself through it all. Because I think as a young person, you make mistakes, you do things, and you beat yourself up for making mistakes. And I'd probably tell myself to love myself through the mistakes.
I love that. I really love that. And now that you're at this really awesome place, you're doing all this really great, awesome work. What does Angelique do for Angelique? What's your self-care routine?
Sometimes it's doing absolutely nothing. It
Fabulous.
is it is sometimes it's lying on my couch watching TV, taking naps. That's
Listen,
that's
naps are so
that's self-care.
underrated.
Oh my goodness. I love a good nap. But I also love massages. I love saunas and things like that. I love that kind of stuff is self-care to me. Going having a nice sitting down having a nice meal with friends. A bunch of things, but I will say taking a good nap is the first one. It's number one.
Honestly, I gotta agree with you. I was for the longest time was like, naps? I'm not doing a nap. I'm grown up. I'm not a child. And then I started taking them. I'm like, oh, you dumbass. You should have been doing this. Don't you feel better now? Yes.
And sleep is so important for our health.
It's
Lack of
so
sleep
important.
can really have adverse effects on your health. So, if I didn't get a good night's sleep the night before, I make sure I get a nap or I try to get a nap in. Self-care to me is just being content. Happy is maybe the extreme, but at least being content with my life, where I am, what I'm doing, the people around me, traveling. I love traveling to. Never met a beach I didn't like.
Same.
A
Same.
tropical beach. But lying on the beach all day, that's a form of self care for me too.
I love it. I mean, have my favorite beach in the world is Lanikai Beach in Honolulu because it's so deserted and it's just the warmest water and there's nothing there. It's just the most incredible place to like just fall asleep. No one will bother you,
Oh,
and when you
nice.
wake up, you'll just feel like, oh,
I
did
love
10
it.
years go by?
Does it have the black sand? I haven't been to Hawaii in many, many years, like 30 years.
This is like it's not that far from like the center part of Honolulu, but like it's like a public beach. So it's it's not resort. You kind of walk through a little walkway to get through some houses to get there, and it's just you can just hang out there the whole day and you see these
Oh,
like
nice.
these beautiful mountains in the distance, but just nothing but clear blue water, and there's no boats or anything. You have to bring your own like chairs and like blankets and everything, but it's so worth it because you just like,
I
oh
love it. I love it. I love it. No, that's heaven to me.
yeah,
That's heaven to
it's
me. The sound of the ocean, the sun beating on my face, that's heaven to me. And a good
it,
meal.
yeah. Oh yes, listen, you give me a beach and a good meal, we are
Oh,
happy.
I'm hooked. Yeah, so that's self-care for me.
Awesome, I love it. A last question for you: do you have a give and or an ask of the audience?
I think I'll stick to the advice I've already mentioned is to lift heavy, lift weights, lift heavy.
I love that. I think because we all need to learn how to do that because it's
Yeah, because
necessary.
otherwise, you'll be flabby. Simply put.
Love it. Oh my gosh, I love it. she's like, do you want to be flabby? No. Then lift some weights and lift heavy.
Period. That's all there is to it.
I think that makes it really easy. Oh my gosh, it's like you're such a delight. Oh my gosh. You've had such an incredible story and such a wonderful journey, and I thank you so much for being part of 29 Days of Magic. We're gonna put details in your show notes to follow you on all the social medias and see your amazing journey and creations and workouts and looking fly at 57 and how like it is attainable. It's there. We can do it. We can.
Can I just say I can't believe I'm 57. I don't know where did the time go. Like how am I? I'm going to be 58 this year, and I'm like I feel like I
Jesus.
was just 38 the other day. I was
I
38
was
the
gonna
other
say like,
day.
ma'am, what? It's
Oh my
like
goodness. What is going on?
that is
Oh,
unbelievable. I mean, I gotta say, girl, you look stunning.
thank you so much. I really
um,
appreciate that.
like but it shows, but also is a testament to the hard work that you've put in, and the what you give back out to the world, and inspiring and allowing folks to see what you're able to create. And I think that means a lot for folks to see what's possible, but you
Hmm.
do it in a very beautiful and approachable manner, which is why we follow you. So thank you for all that you do and being part of 29 Days of Magic.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Awesome. And that is our show.